Hello viewers, on behalf of School of Extension and Development Studies, IGNOU, today we are going to have a small discussion on a very relevant topic, that is urbanization and urban future. This particular topic connects to all the people who are staying in urban areas, apart from the students who are registered for either PG Diploma in Urban Studies or Masters in Urban Studies. Now, PG Diploma in Urban Planning and Development is a 1 year, first year of this Masters in Urban Studies. If those who want to exit after 1 year can do away with PG Diploma in Urban Planning and Development, and the second year those who complete, they will go with Masters in Urban Studies. Now, this particular topic, that is urbanization and urban future, connects to every one of us who are residing in urban areas, whether we are a student of PG Diploma in Urban Planning and Development or not. But we all are connected, we all face the brunt, we all face the problems of urbanization. Today, myself and Professor B.K. Pattanaik, senior most faculty of our department, School of Extension and Development Studies, we will be deliberating and discussing that what we will try to understand what are the issues directly that is there in urbanization, and what are the issues which is likely to come on urbanization future. Now let's try to understand what is urbanization. We all know that a group of people or infrastructure that has been developed in urban area or in a city that attracts people from rural areas and from different areas for settlement, for better infrastructure, for better education, health facility, and for commerce and marketing, and for various other reasons. So in terms of infrastructure, urbanization, urban cities attract people from all walks of life, from all around the country, because of these opportunities which urbanization offers. Now let's try to see some data about the urbanization. As we all know that India is the fastest growing and second largest urban center in the world, and the total population of people residing in the urban areas is almost 11% of total world urban population. The entire population in the world around, 11% of urban people stay in Indian cities. Then the total population of population in urban India is around 340 million, that is 34 crores. And these people are scattered in 7,000 plus cities. So these 7,000 plus cities are of different categories. Category 1, Tier 1, Tier 2, there are 55 metropolitan cities. Now these 53 metropolitan cities they reside almost 43% of total urban population. That means we find that there is a huge concentration of urban people residing in these 53 metropolitan cities. Apart from these 53 metropolitan cities, the 4-5 metropolitan, that is Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi and Mumbai, they hold almost 15% of people residing in urban areas. Of the total urban population, 15% people stay in these metropolitan cities, these 5 cities. Now, these top 4 metropolitan cities also have a unique feature, that the recent development of last 10 years in these metropolitan cities has happened on the outskirts of these metropolitan cities, because there is no space for further growth and development within the cities. So all the outskirts of cities, which are mostly away from the administrative boundaries of the various bodies. So the development is slightly haphazard in these suburb and outskirts of these metropolitan cities, where settlement is haphazard. Many villages that were there in these metropolitan cities on the outskirts, those areas have also been included as part in the city. So the population of these metropolitan cities has also increased. Why I am discussing all this? To give you a basic understanding the size of population, why it has increased in these metropolitan cities. Now, before we go further, I would request Professor Pattanaik to throw some light on the population on the various issues, problems and issues which he feels on the priority we should discuss. Over to Professor Pattanaik.
The thing is that urbanization has become very important, and why urbanization is important in the developing country, because if you see in India, 60% of our GDP contributed by the urban areas. And it also in most of the 80%, if you see the China, near about 80% of their employment is in the urban areas. Considering the economic, their contribution to the economic growth and also to the employment and standard of living. If you see the standard of living and quality of life, people residing in the urban areas is better as compared to the rural areas. And it has been studied, and it has been many a time emphasized that urban areas are the engine of economic growth. So if a country needs to progress or to have higher economic development, suppose we are now the 4th largest economy in the world, and we are aiming by 2027, we are aiming to be the 3rd largest economy in the world. In order to become the 3rd largest economy in the world, the main aim is the urbanization, urban and development of the urban areas. Their urbanization means process of urban development. If you see that in the developed countries, urbanization is totally different as compared to the developing countries like India and other African countries where urbanization process is slow, because in those countries urbanization took place after the industrialization. But in our most of the cities, the urbanization took place before the industrialization, growth of industrial sector, because there are two sectors, industry sector and service sector are mostly exist in the urban areas. But before industrial, there are few cities like Farooquee, Bhilai, even a few cities in the Maharashtra and Gujarat, there are cities, the manufacturing sector and business sector took place, and service sector in most of the, but in majority of the cities, they have been developed without any planning. Suppose you take, while I was a student of 1983, I am talking about 83, 84, 80s, there are only 13 districts in Odisha. Now it has become the 30 district. And if you go to those district headquarters, you will find it is a simple lane. There was no, because district has been declared without any prior planning. If you see you go to suppose take the example of why I am giving the example of Uttar Pradesh. If you go to any city, whether it is Lucknow, whether it is Kanpur, whether it is earlier this Bareilly, there is a certain place, CBD, Central Business District. If you go there, you will find there is a Ghantaghar. That means that is the central place with having business. But how many states, other states have that type of business CBD? Even Punjab, I have seen the district like Muxar, Mansa, Faridkot, there is no proper planning of the district planning. This is just a simple lane. That means we have developed it, declared as a district without any proper planning, without any proper, that means our cities are developed without any proper planning and without any thought of proper urban governance. Therefore, planning is very, very important for any urban development. The city should be divided into different zones. Suppose Farooquee was talking about Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Earlier it was Class 1, Class 2, Class 3 city. If you see that after 74th Constitutional Amendment, there are 3 urban local bodies: Municipal Corporation, Municipal Council and Nagar Panchayat. Why there should not be, city should be declared on the basis of the local self-governance? If you have taken that local self-governance is the primary agent, they are the primary agent of the city development. Right. Why that should not be considered as a criteria? You see, the Nagar Panchayat, why it should not be developed properly? And there are different types, heritage cities, creative city. Now it is a creative city. Suppose you go to the Saharanpur. Saharanpur is a creative city. Wood carving, it is famous for wood carving. Same to the Muradabad. There are several cities where there are creative in nature. So we should see that creative city. Gig city. Suppose now small business are coming. City now it has become a way of life of employment. Right. So gig city. That should be the heritage city. Suppose there are several small places, religious places of different communities where people go in a large number. Why you should not identify those cities and let us business sector and service sector grow there, and those cities become the Nagar Panchayat, where 75% of people are occupied in non-farm activities. Right. So we have to identify those small areas on the basis of their strength, whether it is a creative city, whether it is a heritage city, whether it is a business city, whether it is a manufacturing city. Yeah. So based on all those cities should be proper. This is urban future. Right. If you have to look at the urbanization in a holistic manner, if you really, the government or any agency really interested for the proper growth of the urban areas or proper urbanization, we have to look at all these aspects. Only by declaring, suppose Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 city, how many cities are there? Right. We cannot play with the 53 or 56 cities. Right. You talk about 7,000 cities, where other cities are there. Right. So we have to see what are the strengths, and on the basis of that, our urban future depends on how you plan the city, how you govern the city, how you provide the basic amenities. Many of the cities, you talk about the rural areas. Suppose Delhi has 320 villages, and you have to, they don't have the Panchayat Raj. They don't have the Panchayat Raj system. They don't have village panchayat. They are governed by the municipality. And the developmental work, whether it is a sanitation, electricity, drinking water, we have to see how make those villages smart with all these kind of activities.
Before we take our discussion further, I would like to just highlight that in India, Tamil Nadu is the one state which is considered to be the most developed state. After Tamil Nadu comes Maharashtra. Maharashtra is the second developed state. And Himachal Pradesh in the north, that is considered to be the least developed state, least urbanized state rather. So Tamil Nadu, why Tamil Nadu is considered most urbanized state and Maharashtra followed by Maharashtra, let's have a small discussion that what were the factors that led to the urbanization in Tamil Nadu to that extent that it is considered the most urbanized state. Now there are cities in Tamil Nadu which grew, so most of the cities grew with either some handicraft or with tourism or with fishery or with some industrial initiative. So the problems in Tamil Nadu is not of the kind which we find problems in the North Indian cities. Their population is almost evenly scattered. Most of the cities in Tamil Nadu, the difference between the population in X city and Y city is not very high. Whereas we find in other cities, in other areas, say Karnataka, where Bangalore's population is almost 9 times higher than the next small city, next big city, that is Hubli and Dharwad. Similarly, in Telangana, the population of Hyderabad is 9.8 times more than the next biggest city, that is Warangal. Now, this particular aspect is called urban primacy. Now, urban primacy is very clearly defined in the most of the cities, whereas in Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, because of event distribution, because of MSME, that is a very important factor that is considered, that MSME attracts people into urban area, into urban conglomeration, where people or villagers, they come with some skill, try to earn their livelihood, and they supply, and that's how the city has developed. So population of these cities in Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu is evenly distributed. Whereas in other states, we find that population is more concentrated in the capital city, as I said about the Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. The similar situation exists in some of the cities in Gujarat also. Whereas in the northern India, we find that the difference between population in most of the cities is evenly distributed, as initially Professor Pattanaik had said that the center for business, the Ghantaghar, was there. So most of the cities were identified with some kind of occupation or some kind of trade. They specialized in some trade. He highlighted that Saharanpur is specialized in wood carving and woodwork. Agra specialized in leather work. Kanpur is specialized in leather work. Aligarh is specialized in lock. Firozabad in glass work. So that way, and some of the centers were centers of learning, like Allahabad it was considered Harvard of East initially, because it had very good university. People were learned, and people identified, and more people went to Allahabad University. So the city developed because of the education there initially. Now things have changed. So now, Professor Pattanaik,
the thing is that you rightly pointed out, there are also cities based on the biodiversity. Suppose Bharatpur district is developed because of that biodiversity park, Bharatpur Sanctuary.
Right.
But we have to see the strength of the city. It's not the city means a rock and so city must be planned. Every city must have some open space where you can, the playground, creative sector.
Right.
So they should have the water body, cities should have the water body, so that you think that it provides soothing during the time of summer, and also for the maintenance of the biodiversity.
Right.
So every city should be properly planned and should be divided into different zones. Right. As you rightly say, that you should have a central business zone, then manufacturing zone, then service sector zone, banking, insurance, school, colleges. So properly, and residential zone. So before declaring a city, even if you plan all those, I am not going a tier 1, tier 2, that is good. But the thing is that now other cities, those small cities, those who are mainly Nagar Panchayats and municipalities, smaller municipality, we must have every must have a plan. I am not talking about the master plan for 20 years. You should have a small plan of 4-5 years and look at how this zonal system is going on. If you go to all the developed countries where 82% of the people are, more than 80% people are staying in the urban areas, and urban areas contribute 80% to their GDP. Take example of Singapore. Singapore is a total urbanized city. They don't have the rural population. So if we have to urbanize, because we have only 37, 31, 32% of the people staying in the urban areas, we have a larger scope to develop our Nagar Panchayat, smaller cities. We have declared that we have more than 7,000 cities, but we don't have a plan how to develop those small Nagar Panchayat municipality, and we are not investing that much in the suppose that is city for the business sector. It is a business city. people should do, and let is the service sector, emphasize on service sector, good education, good and creative city, where there are film city, all these things. Right. So there must be a proper city, and city governance is very, very important.
Right.
When we talk of the governance, we talk of the, because already we have the third tier democratic system, the municipal corporation, municipal council, and we have created a system. Right. We have to give the power to the, suppose you take the example of Kerala. Right. Kerala is also urbanized. You talk of the Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra. These are highly urbanized city, highly urbanized state in as compared to the other state of India. Yeah. So if you see the Kerala,
since you are talking about Kerala, Kerala is also well known for urban-rural continuum. The infrastructure facility of urban areas extends to the rural areas. So if you travel in Kerala from one area to another area or one village to the cities, you will not find the difference in terms of road and electricity and other infrastructure. And because of the densely population of the Kerala, there is no gap between villages and cities. So Kerala is a very unique...
That also, not only Kerala, every city should develop their corridor, urban corridor, urban to rural corridor, a city to city corridor, right. Where you should have the manufacturing, we should have the services, business, school, all this kind of, so that city, it is interconnected. Right. And by that way, we will create lot of employment opportunity for the people. For the young youth. Why you should from one state to migrate in a large number to other state? If you create opportunity by creating the urban corridor, urban corridor, where there will be manufacturing sector, there will be service sector, and business sector. These three sectors mostly, because city is known for these three sector. If you develop that has happened in Maharashtra. Right. You will never find much of the Maharashtrian people migrating to other state for the job. That has happened in Gujarat because of this kind of city development, proper city development.
Since you are discussing city development and urban planning, if cities are planned properly, now let's take example of these 4 or 5 metros. Now the problems in these metros are, although the Delhi roads are very wide and well laid, but that is only limited in the New Delhi, the South Delhi. Whereas the northern part of Delhi and Western and Trans Yamuna, again it is a very crowded. Now based on the issues and problems of these metro, if the proper planning is extended to smaller cities, as you were telling, that now what are the major problems which can be seen, what are there in these metropolitan cities. So let's discuss that. The problem starts from concentration of population, haphazard planning of the houses in other areas, water logging during rainy season. There is water logging in most of the area. Transportation, it is packed, overcrowded. Then the informal sector, the vendors, they are there in the smaller lanes like we find in the Nebsai and so many sarais in Delhi. They are because they have no other place. So although there is a policy for the vending, but it is not implemented properly, and they also have no opportunity just to sell their products and goods besides on the roadside. So road becomes narrower, traffic movement becomes tough during peak time. So these are some of the issues. Then there is a huge heavy pollution during summertime and winter. So these are some of the issues which we have to take into account for the planning of other cities.
Because that is what urban future. What is urban future? Urban future means we require a city where people will enjoy a good quality of life. And when we talk of the good quality of life, that means we must provision basic needs. Right. Suppose village, we must provide a proper management of waste. Waste management is a very big problem in most of the cities, right. And it creates a lot of problem, health hazards and second is urban poverty. If you will find a rich person in the big colony staying in a good palatial building, having a lot of money and good standard of living, and the same time you will find with people, with poor people staying, those who are, you talk of the informal sector, right. Because urban informal, more than 80% of the people in urban area, they work in informal sector, right. And informal sector contributes nearly 50% to the urban GDP, because you cannot in the cities, every city has slum, but how you make those small slums smart, that is a big challenge, and they contribute a lot to the household sector, to the business sector, to the service sector, everywhere, right. Because how you make the formalize the informal sector in terms of their wage rate, in terms of their access to social security, these are the urban paradox. Because those who are staying, the health security, take that example of health. Suppose a Delhi wager, suppose he falls sick of any major diseases like cancer or any kind of, who will come to his rescue? So there are urban sector is a urban informal sector which contributes substantially to the urban GDP. They should be taken care of. Right. So urban future depends on the informal sector. Right. How you may take policy measure to formalize the informal sector, that is a big and another thing which you will also highlight, that cities in the hills should be different from the cities of the plains. Yes, yeah. You see, when I came to Delhi in 1988, and there was no information, anything about the cloud burst or any kind of things. But now it is happening frequently in the Uttarakhand, yeah. And most of the people might migrating from the cities to the either Delhi or to the plain. From the hills. Why from the hills? Why? Because those cities, they don't require so much of population in the cities. But if you continuously harm the nature, nature will also know how to harm you. Yeah. So we require Himalayas. Why there is a climate change? Why there is a climate disturbances? Right. Because we have to see that how much population we require, how much urbanization we require in the cities. That is, if you see that, because I am giving in Uttarakhand, the urban population is 33%, whereas in Himachal Pradesh it is only 10%. That's why the cloud burst and all those hazards are less in Himachal Pradesh as compared to the Uttarakhand. So we have to see how that is also urban future, yeah. Because most of the tourists, and they are going to Jammu and Kashmir, all these hill stations. So we have to see how much there is a system in Goa, you might have known. There is in houses the tourists go and see. We don't require a hotel there, 5-star hotel. They should go and stay with the home residences. We must encourage that. That type of city arrangement is required in the urban areas, in the hill states, rather than going for 5-star hostel and kind of things.
Right. Very rightly you said about the Uttarakhand, the Himalayan areas. Now we all know the fragility of ecosystem, the fragility of mountains does not encourage, it does not need more population or more activities on the land. Otherwise these soils are very loosely bound and they will start landslips and landslides will happen. We also know that overcrowding in some cities in the Himalayas like Shimla and Nainital, we find that there are a number of disasters that is happening every year during monsoon season. Now, why these disasters have increased? Because of the decreasing of forest areas. The urban expansion is largely on those lands, on the suburb where there were trees and forest was there. People have depleted, denuded and removed the forest cover, and expansion, urban settlements has expanded. So before having more further discussion on the difference between urbanization pattern in the plains and the hills, let's take a small break and again we will discuss on these issues.
Myself Gina Jameson and I am coming from Kerala. I have done Masters in Travel and Tourism Management in IGNOU. I have gained gold medalist category and I believe the destiny make me to stand here. When I joined this course, I was quite confused with this course because I have a 2-year-old baby girl and I have job. So I was quite confused whether I am able to achieve my goal here. But I believe that destiny make me here to stand in gold medal category. About IGNOU, I am so grateful to this university because during my project time and during my assignments that my study center and my coordinator helped me a lot to achieve my goal. I want to tell you about the university that all the study material is so clear and crisp. You don't need to ask for any help for studying from your anything because you will get from that your study material and it is very clear and you can learn yourself. And I believe this gold medal helped me to achieve one more further in my career, and I believe in future I want to do PhD in the same university because it is very accessible to achieve your goal. And I wish all the gold medalists and PhD honors to get a good future. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Subha Jain and I am a student of SOPVA-IGNOU रिसर्च स्कॉलर. जैन आर्किटेक्चर पे मैंने PhD की है. हर टॉपिक के ऊपर यहाँ पे जो IGNOU लाइब्रेरी है उसमें बहुत रिचेस्ट लाइब्रेरी है. आपको कहीं इधर उधर बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे लिटरेचर के अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे जो यहाँ पे मटेरियल मिला है वो इट्स सो गुड. मन के जीते जीत, मन के हारे हार, यही संदेश है मेरा. अगर आपने ठान लिया तो आप बिल्कुल कर लेंगे. कई बार ऐसे फेसेस आए कि हमें ऐसा लगा कि मतलब कई बार तो ऐसा भी हो कि गिव अप भी कर दें, बट फैकल्टी मेंबर्स और सब कुछ यहाँ पे इतना अच्छा है IGNOU कैंपस के अंदर कि फिर आप उससे पीछे हट नहीं सकते क्योंकि यहाँ पे इतना मोटिवेशनल एटमॉस्फेयर है कि आप आगे बढ़ते ही जाएंगे. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा शुक्रगुजार हूँ IGNOU के लिए क्योंकि ये एक ऐसी यूनिवर्सिटी है जो पीपल्स यूनिवर्सिटी कहलाती है, जो ख़ास तौर पे लर्नर्स फ्रेंडली है. लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग के लिए इससे अच्छा कोई ऑप्शन हो ही नहीं सकता. इंडियाज़ लार्जेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटी, लार्जेस्ट ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी है और इसमें जो अफोर्डेबिलिटी, एक्सेसिबिलिटी और जो फैसिलिटीज़ इसमें हैं वो शायद मैं समझती हूँ किसी और यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं है. जो लर्नर है वो अपने पेस से कहीं भी बैठ के स्टडी कर सकता है. उसका एज का कोई क्राइटेरिया नहीं है. आप किसी भी एज में अपनी एजुकेशन को कहीं से भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं और पूरा कर सकते हैं. टाइम भी इसमें काफ़ी अच्छा मिलता है कि अगर बाकी यूनिवर्सिटी 3 साल देती हैं तो हमारी IGNOU 6 साल देती है और अलग अलग क्राइटेरिया हैं एज का, टाइम का, पेस का, सभी चीज़ों का. तो मैं इस बात को सपोर्ट करती हूँ कि अगर किसी को एजुकेशन लेनी है और किसी भी वजह से, किसी भी हर्डल की वजह से आपकी एजुकेशन बीच में कभी रुक गई है तो IGNOU इज़ द बेस्ट ऑप्शन टू कंटिन्यू योर एजुकेशन. IGNOU तो पहले ही ये फैसिलिटी देता था कि आप ऑनलाइन बैठ के कर सकें, आप घर बैठ के पढ़ सकें. इतना ज़बरदस्त, इतना अच्छा स्टडी मटेरियल प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. ये इसकी ख़ास बात है स्टडी मटेरियल की कि इसमें इनबिल्ट टीचर की प्रेजेंस जो है ना वो महसूस की जाती है. जब आप उसका स्टडी मटेरियल पढ़ेंगे तो लगेगा आप अपनी बात टीचर से कह रहे हैं और टीचर आपकी बात का रिप्लाई भी उसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कर रहा है. ये बहुत ख़ास बात है. बाकी जितने भी स्टूडेंट सपोर्ट सिस्टम हैं सभी कुछ इतने ज़्यादा लर्नर्स फ्रेंडली हैं कि कहीं से भी कंटिन्यू किया जा सकता है एजुकेशन को और इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करके आप अपनी लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग को जारी रख सकते हैं.
we were discussing about the difference of developing urbanization in the hills and the plain areas, and we were discussing about what kind of urbanization should happen in the Himalayan cities. Now, few glaring examples that the roads, wherever roads in the mountains has gone, people have started migrating down. Although it is good for the people to take the advantage of road, development is good for the road, but the supply of minor forest produce or whatever agriculture produce is grown there, that is brought and sold in the cities and the other places because of roads and communication, and all the urban vices if we can say, that reaches to the remote and far-flung areas of the mountain where people were very simple. So these are the two sides of the road. Now, as Pattanaik Sahab was discussing, that 33% of population of Uttarakhand is urbanized. Now let's take example why urbanization of this kind, of this dimension, is very bad for the Himalayan states, because of the natural disaster and because of the carrying capacity of these small cities or helmets which could not carry more. I will give example of a small city called Almora, which was designed initially for a population of 25,000, and today and there were natural water springs all around, and city did not had any water supply from outside. So people were surviving using the natural spring which was there, and it was all right till the population expanded into many lakhs, and they had to be, all the natural springs started drying because of the cutting of the forest on the higher reaches, on the top of the ridges, and because of unplanned construction on the hilltops. So because of that, we lost the water spring, and the city is congested. On the roads there is a traffic jam, so it is, and pollution. Earlier there were no fans, now there is a temperature, the rise in temperature, people need AC. Same, let's take example of Dehradun. After the 4-lane roads which have been constructed, it is good for the tourist to reach Dehradun in 3 hours or 2.5 hours as suggested by many media groups, but it is very bad for people residing in Dehradun because city is over congested with traffic. On holidays and Sundays, people complain that they cannot come out. Now because of this over congestion on the road, there is a heavy pollution of vehicular pollution in the Dehradun cities. So we also find that because of urbanization, people migrate from rural areas and they leave their traditional agriculture along with a little grazing, pastoralism and horticulture, and they are moving to urban areas for liquid cash in hand. Now those cities, those villages and those resources, land resource is lying idle, and it is becoming less fertile. It is not used. So whatever some production which was agriculture produce which was coming out from that piece of land, we are losing on that front. There is no one to look and cultivate in those areas. So that is also very bad for the ecosystem. Little agriculture, little forestry is required, and human interference, human management is very much important for a sustainable forest management, for sustainable growth and development. But this kind of urbanization, as Professor Pattanaik had rightly suggested, that the hill urbanization has to be different from the plain urbanization. This has to be taught in the schools so that people is staying in the hill areas, they don't expect big cities in the hill areas, they don't expect urban infrastructure, urban facilities of plain areas into the hill areas, because it is not possible. If we do that, then we know what is happening. All kinds of landslip, landslides, and the natural disaster of cloudburst that has started to appear. That means nature is also giving signal that big development, big projects is not possible, is not advisable for the hill areas.
Similarly, you see, not only in hill areas, but also in plain cities also, there is a need for green city. Because if you see that cities are day by day becoming the cradle of human being and bricks. If you see that the total number of vehicles in Delhi is more than 1 crore. and total number of trees is 10 lakh. That means what we are doing. Cities are becoming the hub of vehicles, human beings, and the bricks. And there are no trees, there are no animals. I was seeing in these villages, almost all Delhi has more than 320 villages. Right. And where are their animals? Earlier, those people, they had this grazing land, they used to have buffaloes. And even this, Nepsarai area, this Sahapurzad village near to this Asiad village, I had seen a few household had buffaloes, but now they don't exist. That means the biodiversity is day by day becoming less and less. So for the greener city, it requires more plantation of the trees, more water bodies, more forest, city forest, right. And also the green city, green household, and green municipality, green nagar panchayats, green house in the cities. With solar energy, we can have this electric vehicle, so that the pollution will be, the future depends on the green city. And green city means you are providing a healthy quality of life to the people. Right. So that should be the future of the city. Future of the city should not that we should abolish all kind of natural resources, biodiversity from the city, and city becomes the hub of people and Right. So green city is also one of the aim of the future city. Future city. And also we are talking of the smart city. Now there is a digital city. Right. Use of digital currency. If you see that India, highest percent of the people are doing this mobile banking, this digital transactions, right. And cities becoming the of digital economy. So providing better internet facilities, right. Providing better infrastructure, digital infrastructure is very, very important to make the cities more accessible. And city also require more foreign direct investment. Both the internal investment as well as external inflow of capital. Because if you see that only a few cities in India, they have only the major cities, like you see Delhi, then Mumbai, then Bangalore, then Hyderabad, Bhubaneswar. What about the small cities? Nobody is interested. Even if they are now near about 440 cities are connected with the air facilities. These flights are going. Why those cities should not be targeted for foreign direct investment? Right. For investment by our own industrialists. So we should see all those, because critical thinking about the city development, as city becoming the main engine of economic growth and development, the critical thinking about the cities, critical thinking, how we can develop the cities, make the city smart, how we can enable the city to contribute more towards the economic growth and development, and a sustainable city where the people enjoy good health, education facilities are there, less infant mortality, less maternal mortality, sustainable infrastructure, less pollution, and climate resistance, disaster, the city resilience system should be strengthened, so that city never second. Suppose if you see that during economic slowdown after Corona, most of the cities they become second. So we have to see that how to fight with the disaster, naturally, any kind of disaster. A city must be prepared for that. Right. Because you see, most of the tolls, most of the people died in the urban areas. Rural areas, there was less death as compared to the urban areas. Because urban areas, urban healthcare system was not prepared to face the disaster or epidemic. So cities must have resilience to face all those kind of disaster, whether it is man-made disaster or natural disaster, what kind of disaster. So future city must be more resilient to face economic slowdown. Suppose unemployment. Once the economic slowdown is there, so heavy unemployment happens. The youth become unemployed. So we have to see the alternative, how to even economic disaster also, how to city to face. So that what happened immediately, many of the people after Corona, they migrated to the rural areas. And it means rural area is more resilient than as compared to the urban areas. Why we should not make cities more resilient? That is because we are not developing service sector, manufacturing sector and business sector with which have sustainable feature. That is important.
Yeah, you are very rightly you said. That is also because of the size of the cities. The population of these cities, metro cities, is so big that it is very difficult to cater to the health infrastructure facilities to people, as we found during COVID time. And you are very rightly saying about the urban biodiversity, making the urban cities green, more health friendly. That is possible not in the in the existing cities of existing metropolitan cities. We need stringent law to not allow more construction in the open areas. We understand the value of open space. We need that children need playgrounds, football grounds in the urban areas. Schools used to have more open spaces. Now that is decreasing. The gardens, the parks, there were so many small lakes in the cities. Now because of the unplanned construction, most of the small rivulets or small drainages which were draining into these lakes, there have been small construction or unplanned growth of slums have started coming up, sprouting in those areas and leading to the drying of these small lakes.
One of the I'll want some because we don't have much of the tribal cities. That is a main concern, because if you are only city, if you see that cities are developed in non-tribal areas, those who are not, if you go to the tribal cities are very small. If you go to the district headquarters of the tribal, why people don't, even if they have natural beauty, everything. If you go to the Koraput, I have seen landscaping is so beautiful. If you go to that, I had never once I traveled from this Andhra Pradesh city, that Vizag to Koraput, because it is nearer. Yeah. I find such a beautiful landscape. Because there are so many block headquarters, subdivision headquarters that could have been developed in a very good city, so that tourism could have gone to there. Nobody looking at all those tribal areas. We are talking of the tribal areas. There are not only in Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, even Gujarat. Every state have tribal areas, and we should see tribal city, hill city, plain city, everything. And another one problem is there. You talk about the population. The population in the time to come, aging population it has happened already in Europe, already in Japan, most of the developed country, Korea, Japan, and India is also marching towards the aging group of population, and day by day it is increasing, and times to come aging population. Now recent data says that our fertility rate has come down below the replacement level 2.1, it is now 1.9. The population is decreasing. The urban, that means the old age population above the 60 years of age, they will composite much of the urban population. So how we will deal with the aging population, old age population, that is also bigger challenge in future. And every developed country is facing that. European country, Japan is facing that. So we have to see all those things, all this perspective take into consideration while we are planning for the future cities.
Japan, I recently read and heard that Japan, the old people, they mostly stay on the outskirts of the cities, and there they don't have houses, and the houses are not clustered like we find in India. So most of the old age people, they walk, and that is the best exercise for old age people, and they do little kitchen garden cultivation, flowering, small garden. So some kind of activities they have involved themselves. And because of it is a very developed country, they have not a poverty. People are not poor like in India. So they can afford best of the best health infrastructure, health facilities and doctors and medical care. Whereas in India, it is not so. Although the size of the senior citizens, age-old people are increasing, but there is no infrastructure for them to walk or to do something. They have to be confined into their house or onto their bed. So we need, you rightly said that we need those kind of development of cities where these people can go. It should be affordable also, and they stay there with all kinds of infrastructure, health facilities. Japan also has sent request to some of the countries in India that they need paramedical facilities to manage to their old age people, geriatrics. So some kind of diploma, if offering in the Indian universities, if they are offering, they can send these semi-trained paramedical people to Japan because they need to look after their old age people. So you rightly said that in India also we need more and more attention towards this side because size of old age people will increase eventually.
You see what is happening, because one of the important area or urban future is urban finance.
Yeah.
Because we have to see that because ultimately the development of the urban area is confined to the municipality, the local self-government institution. They are managing the slum, they are managing the, you see, this circular economy, this waste management, sewage system. So urban finance is also a very big issue, because most of the municipality, most of the local self-government, they depend on central finance. Either central finance or finance from the state finances. And local self-government has minimum resources. That means urban local bodies are mostly the dependent bodies. They are not self bodies.
Yeah.
How to make them self-sustained?
Yeah.
The taxable income of the urban areas, local self-government institution is very low.
Very low. Yeah.
So that's why cities are not developing.
Yeah.
Suppose Mumbai municipality has a lot of income. Even their income is constitute a sizable percent of the state budget.
Yeah. You very rightly said that.
But the thing is that we have to see other municipality, how they will generate their own sources of income. They can utilize their own land. Suppose urban, if they have suppose in case of your this smaller municipality and Nagar Panchayat, they can utilize their own land. So the thing is that land management, urban land management is a very big issue. And if you don't create age of doing business, because through business you can get the revenue, because yet you see it has not been decided how much of there are state GST and also central GST and also combined GST, and GST is not for the local self-government. They are also demanding we should have at least 30 to 40% of the GST. It is still in. Right. So they have to give in the opportunity to get some taxable income, and that must be created so that those municipality and those Nagar Panchayat, small Nagar Panchayat, we have created Nagar Panchayat, we don't have any planning.
Right.
That since 1992, we had 74th constitutional amendment where there are 3 local bodies: municipal corporation, municipal council, and Nagar Panchayat. Right. What plan we have for the Nagar Panchayat? So, what type of policy, manufacturing, service, what is the plan? There is no specific area. We are only concentrating on municipal corporation and municipal council. Only in the million plus cities and mega cities.
Right.
And there is no plan for those Nagar Panchayats. Let us think of, because you see, the urban development is a state subject. It is not a concurrent subject. Yeah. So state has completely, and you see, another thing is that in 1992, the central government had the municipal act, the panchayat, this urban act, And they gave to the state, and state has almost most of the state without any doing some minor changes, they have accepted that municipal act, but they are not creating it, making it any amendment, how to deal with the creative sector, how to have the share of the Nagar Panchayat, how to develop the Nagar Panchayat. This is a stereotyped municipal act which is continuing for years together. This urban future requires a very dynamic municipal act, and there should be clearly tax mapping between the municipal corporation, municipal council and Nagar Panchayat. Who will do that? How much revenue should be divided between these three bodies? And if we want a balanced development of the municipal institutions, it requires a proper planning of the urban finance. That is very important.
In fact, we can learn from the Scandinavian countries, where taxes are collected by the municipal bodies, not a central body like in India, the Indian Revenue Department that collects all the taxes from the people. There the municipality collects all the taxes, and they have record that how many people are employed in their ward and what is their income level, and accordingly, if the income level falls down, they give some pension also to these people. So that kind of decentralization has to be introduced. Although taxation is a subject of central government and state government, but that autonomy is required for the municipal bodies, which is slightly not there.
You rightly, because I had been to Finland
to
study this local self-government under the European Commission project.
Right.
And I went to one municipality, I remember, and because they were taking to show the municipality, and I interact with those municipal corporation, whether income tax, whether your income tax goes to the central government or to the municipality. They told that our income tax go to our municipality. Not to the, but here what happened in India, in other countries also, the income tax go to the central government. And through devolution, it came to the municipality, the local self-government. This means the financial autonomy is because we had created this local self, because India is the pioneer of the local self-government. Panchayati Raj system, you see, it is one of the oldest institution in the world. And we have the European country, they learned from us, but now they are far ahead of us. So all these are the urban future. If you have seen that future of the urban area, future of the urban development, we must have look at all these aspects.
In fact, we should learn from some of the Scandinavian countries. Sweden is one country which is the best in the world for the management of their urban waste. All the urban waste collected is converted into electricity, and the people are getting electricity free in their ward because of their contribution of the solid waste. So sometimes they are falling short of solid waste to convert into electricity. They are purchasing waste from Denmark and Netherlands. That is because they have developed such an efficient system of converting solid waste into electricity. So we should learn and try to use some of these concepts where they are far ahead, and our generation of solid waste is so high that we can generate so much electricity, so much megawatt of electricity that we can export to the neighboring countries also. So we need some innovation in this side, where learn from the Sweden that how they are managing and converting using the solid waste into electricity, and they are importing and purchasing solid waste from Denmark and Netherlands. So this is one of the example I thought that we should.
The final thing is that how we strengthen our urban future depends on strengthening three economy in the urban areas. First is gig economy, small business, Swiggy and all these things. They are going. A lot of people are employed in gig business, gig economy in urban areas. That is number one. Number two is circular economy. How we create wealth from the waste. That is a big challenge. And third is orange economy. Orange economy means creative economy. How we develop the creative sector, sports, dance, your all type of amusement, all sports. This economy, how to strengthen these three economy depends. Urban development depends on the development of these three economies.
So very rightly you said that how we can do innovation and explore the avenues for orange development. India is a country where there are variety of handicraft, variety of dance forms, variety of people telling with all kinds of song and stories. So we can convert them into a capital, converting them into a business kind of venture, and so that people also learn. So these are some of the issues which we thought that because of the urban future, more and more people are coming to the urban areas. So they should explore and learn to invest into these gray areas which is less explored. So with this, we come to an end of our discussion on urban future. Thank you very much.